Hey, my mama raised a soldier. I ain't had shit. Yeah, I'm going bad shit. I'm a part of the madness. Have you niggas hooked? You know I'm spitting that crack, bitch. Red dot beam, have you disappearing like magic? My mama raised a soldier. Why? I ain't had shit. Yeah, I'm going bad shit. I'm a part of the madness. Have you niggas hooked? You know I'm spitting that crack, bitch. Red dot beam, have you disappearing?
Yo, it's your boy Smokeless YT, aka Soakman, aka Milkman. We back with another video. Now, if y'all don't like this video and subscribe, I'm literally giving y'all this video during school time, my guy. So like and subscribe. But let's get right into the video. We're gonna recap every mock draft that I did, starting one until now. Where first draft I drafted Tyrell Terry, the 6'2" guard out of Stanford. Elite shooter, somebody could do it off the ball. I mean, Tyrell Terry is insane. And the next person I drafted was Mamadi Diakite, the 6'9" shot blocking power forward who I believe who can replace Mike Scott. He can stretch the floor, guard multiple positions. I love Mamadi Diakite. I hope we can possibly get him. The next person I got was Cassius Winston, the 6'1" playmaking guard from Michigan State. A very good shooter, somebody who can does good in the pick and roll, and somebody I thought who can plug against Embiid or with Simmons. And the next person I drafted was Cassius Stanley, the 6'6" athletic guard from Duke, a guy who's very good in transition, a very good defender, and is basically a 3-and-D guy, along with Jordan Nora, the 6'7", 225 forward from Louisville, another 3-and-D forward that we can possibly use for his team. And then the next draft, I drafted Saddiq Bey in my 2.0 version, another great shooter, a guy who's a 3-and-D forward, someone I think who can fit alongside Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid. Someone I would love to draft if we get the chance to. But the next person I drafted was Marcus Howard, the 5'11" guard from Marquette, a very good shooter, one of the best shooters in NCAA history. You can check the fact on that. But Marcus Howard is another person I got. And I got Nate Hinton with the second round pick, and he's a pretty good guy for his size. He's 6'4", he's grit and grind, good defense, and a very solid rebounder for his size. I love Nate Hinton. And another guy I drafted in the second one is Killen Tilly, another stretch forward big that can play defense and can space the floor. I selected Killy. But as always, if you're new to this channel, what we do in these mock drafts, we do 3 players who we can select at the spot, because I just don't want to do one and then just go on with it. But we're doing 3 players that we're drafting at the 21st pick, if we had the 21st pick at the time. But the first person I am drafting, the first person I will target is Kira Lewis Jr. Now, Kira Lewis Jr., the guard from Alabama, is a guy a lot of people in my comment section been talking about, and I see what they're talking about. Kira Lewis Jr. is a guy I would target if I was the Sixers, and the guy I would draft. His speed, his explosiveness to the rim. I love Kira Lewis Jr., and I really think he should come to this team. Now, look, his strengths. He's a good playmaker. He is explosive. He has great athleticism, but his weaknesses is his shot selection and his weight plus his strength. Now, Kira Lewis averaged about 18.5 points per game, 4.8 rebounds, 5.2 assists, 1.8 steals, 45% from the floor, and 36% from the three. I compare him to Ja Morant and De'Aaron Fox. The only time I would possibly have a 2 comparison build, where Ja Morant, a quick guy, shifty, explosive at the rim, and De'Aaron Fox, another quick guy, explosive, and a guy who can really shoot. So that's a good comparison for me. And another guy I have is Jamarius Ramsey, another, I can say, 3-level scorer type guard. You know, I love Jamarius Ramsey. He is a liability on defense, but Jamarius Ramsey is a good prospect I will look at. Now, Jamarius Ramsey's strength, he's a solid defender, good ball handler, and his strengths is his size, but his weaknesses, he's a streaky shooter and scoring in traffic, and he's somewhat of a liability on defense. Now, Jamarius Ramsey averaged 15.0 points per game, 4.0 rebounds, 2.2 assists, 1.3 steals, 44% from the field goal line, 42% from 3. Now, I compared him to a stronger and more athletic Alec Burke. Now, Alec Burke is a guy who is a very good shot creator, who you can call a 3-level scorer. Alec Burke is probably a perfect comparison for Jamarius Ramsey, if you really think about it. But the guy I am drafting today is the Australian guard slash forward Josh Green. Now, Josh Green is a guy I can think he can fit right next to Ben Simmons, somewhat of a Matisse type build, but more, as you can say, versatile, I believe. I could say it like that, but Josh Green is a guy who's very good on defense. Basically a 3-and-D guard that I would really want on this team. Now, Josh Green, he's a good defender, a good shooter, and his athleticism is off the roof. But his weaknesses is his ball handling and his playmaking, and he needs to prove on his shot creating. Now, Josh Green averaged about 12 points per game, 4.6 rebounds, 2.6 assists, 1.5 steals, and 42% from the field goal, and shot 36% from 3. Now compare them to Kelly Oubre. Kelly Oubre is known for his defending. He is known to be an athletic guy and to shoot the 3. He doesn't have the ball handling as Kelly Oubre yet, but that's the best comparison I can give to Josh Green right now. But let's get on to the next one. With the second round pick, with the 34th pick, I selected Isaiah Joe, which Isaiah Joe, I believe, is one of the best shooters in this draft class, next to the Tyrell Terrys, next to the, who else? Marcus Howards. But Isaiah Joe is a guy I would see the Sixers trying to look for, somebody who could benefit Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons. But Isaiah Joe is the man. The strengths: he's a very good shooter, a solid defender, a solid off-the-ball dribbler, but his weaknesses is his ball handling, his shot selection, and his inconsistency. Now, Isaiah Joe averaged about 16.9 points per game, 4.1 rebounds, 1.7 assists, 1.4 steals, 36% from the field goal line, 34% from 3. Now, I compare it to Bradley Beal. Mind you, he doesn't have the ball handling skills as Bradley Beal yet, but once Bradley Beal came into the league, he was known as a sharp shooter, a guy who was catch and shoot, a guy who was off the dribble shooting the ball. Now, Bradley Beal is possibly a better comparison of Isaiah Joe, but y'all let me know. The next guy I got on this list is Daniel Ochu, the center from Minnesota. Now, we have trade talks about Al Horford. Y'all want him to get out of here, so why not replace him with Daniel Ochu, another good post-scoring player who can play immaculate defense, has the reach for it, has the size for it, a very good rebounder, and he can stretch the floor. So Daniel Ochu is a guy I would look at if I was the Sixers. His strengths is his rebounding, has good post play, he has immaculate rim protection, but his weaknesses is his explosiveness and his lateral quickness and his passing. Now, Daniel Ochu at Minnesota averaged 20 points per game, 11.3 rebounds, 1.1 assists, 2.2 blocks, 55% from field goal, and 50% from 3. My Embry comparison was Mo Bamba, but I changed it to DeAndre Ayton. Now, DeAndre Ayton has post play. I don't believe Mo Bamba has post play, and his rebounding is good. Daniel Ochu, I believe, has better defense than DeAndre Ayton, but that was a good comparison for me, in my opinion. But next up, I have the guard Sam Merrill, who is a guy the Sixers should target. They should target a guy like Sam Merrill, a guy who's a point guard, who can play make, he's an elite shooter. He can create his own shot. Now, Sam Merrill is going to fall down in the second round, and we have a chance to pick him up. He's a great fit for this team. Now, his strengths: he's a great shooter, a solid playmaker, has basketball IQ, but his weaknesses is his athleticism, his draft age, and his negatives is his lateral quickness. Now, at Utah State, this man averaged 19.7 points per game, 4.1 rebounds, 3.9 assists, 46% from the field goal, and 41% from 3. I compare him to Luke Kennard. Luke Kennard is another guy who's a very good elite shooter, somebody who can create their own shot, shoot off the ball, shoot off balance. Now, Luke Kennard is probably the best comparison I can give him. They literally have the same size, same frame. I low-key want to give him Tyler Hero, but I gave him Luke Kennard. But yo, the next pick, I did a salary dump trade, the 59th pick, $1 million for free. But yo, y'all let me know. Put down below in the comments what prospects y'all want me to look at, because I'm going to do a prospect look at video. Let me know down in the comments. I love y'all. It's been your boy Smokes YT. We always out here.
Pops too. Wait, she cock back and she mop up, so I pop up, rock her socks off. And your bitch be having my cocks off. She was lying by saying the top hard. Now she on the viz. That is not hard. So what you be talking about? What you need, some walk hard?